And Will Smith got up and slapped the out one of the greatest comedians of all time. You know, that had nothing to do with Will, nothing to do with Jada, nothing to do with Chris. It's my fault. All right, here's the story.
If you were under the impression that the chaos in the Will Smith-Chris Rock slapping drama would end with Chris Rock's Netflix comedy special, boy, you were wrong. It seems like it's a never-ending show at this point. Now that Chris Rock finally spoke his mind on the slap, many other comedians are taking advantage of the situation and are making fun of not one, but all three of the feuding trio: Will, Chris, and, you guessed it, the beloved Jada Smith. One person who's recently taken it upon himself to discuss the slap in his own comedy special is Marlon Wayans. And today we're going to be digging deep into all the mayhem he caused with his 1-hour comedy special. Believe me, you're not going to want to miss what he had to say about the trio. After all, Marlon was close friends with Tupac and Jada long before the whole Will-Jada drama started. So if anyone knows what's going on behind the curtains, it's him. So sit back, relax, and give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It's free, and this way you'll never miss out on any new juicy details. So, have you heard about Marlon Wayans and his new recent stand-up specials on HBO Max? Since the pandemic hit, he has actually filmed 3 different specials. The first one, called You Know What It Is, was filmed in Miami outdoors in 2021. Then, in 2022, he came out with the Marlon Wayans Presents The Headliners. And now he's back again with another special, this time filmed in Atlanta. You might be wondering, why did Marlon choose Atlanta for his latest special? Well, he actually revealed to the audience,
That's why I came to Atlanta to film my special. Because y'all make me feel special.
how cool is that? But what really sets this latest special apart is the content. Marlon spends the entire hour talking about one specific event that happened last year during the Academy Awards. You see, Will Smith had actually slapped Chris Rock live on the TV show, and this really got Marlon thinking about his own personal relationships with Smith, Rock, and Jada Pinkett Smith. By the end of his set, Marlon comes to the conclusion that
God loves me, and remember, God loves you too. Thank y'all. Good night.
in one of the scenes, he says that
I don't know what happened to Will. It looked like he was enjoying the joke.
he's laughing his head off and whatnot, but the moment Jada rolls her eyes, something switches in him. And he actually called him a phony, claiming that he was literally losing his laughing his head off, and he did a very animated acting of him. But then he said Jada added that it wasn't funny, and Will's entire demeanor changed. Marlon said,
And then Jada rolled her eyes and her head like, you. And he went, yeah, that ain't funny. I think she put a spell on that nigga. She had a Men in Black voodoo doll underneath her chair. Cause that motherfucker out of nowhere, he just changed his whole up.
the most hilarious was when he said,
So we saw her roll her eyes up in her head, but that ain't what she did. She put a spell on him. She went, and the ghost of Tupac Shakur possessed Will Smith's body.
he then proceeded to make fun of Will as he walked back to his seat. He also added,
Look at me, even the way he was screaming from his seat, all ignorant and like Tupac on one of his diss records.
in this special, Marlon goes deep and dissects the slap from 4 different perspectives: Chris Rock, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith, and even the audience. Marlon takes us on a trip down memory lane as he flashes back his own personal recollections upon his relationships with each of these 3 famous celebrities. He jokes about Rock's appearance and the voice back in the late 80s, describing his skin tones as the color of violence and imitating a stereotypical crackhead on screen. He also admits to having a crush on Pinkett Smith when he first met her.
Oh my God, this is the most beautiful little boy I ever seen.
Marlon then goes on to contemplate how Smith could be the only black action star to save the world on film while simultaneously making easy-listening hip-hop. According to Marlon, Smith's music might look black, but he writes white. He cites hits such as Parents Just Don't Understand and Getting Jiggy With It as songs that only relate to the white experience. But the real highlight of his special is when Marlon acts out various aspects of the slap. He vividly portrays how the incident unfolded, how he might have reacted in the moment and later in the ceremony if it were him, and how his large, extended, funny family of Wayans would have swooped in to have his back. In other interviews, he was asked if doing material on the duo was hard for him, considering that he personally knows all three, to which he straight up replied with a no. He said,
"This is my job. Everybody knows me, right? And everybody, most of all, everybody knows my heart. And when you see the special,
right,
you will see I didn't go there with toxicity trying to break people down. I just told the truth from every different angle. I spoke for everybody and everybody involved from a neutral perspective, and I spoke honesty. So what happened with that slap, it was instant inspiration."
Yikes. He said,
God was whispering to me. God wrote this. That's why I call it God Loves Me, because nobody's going to do a special in 3 months. I wrote that special on a stage in 3 months by myself.
He added that
I texted them both. I was like, "You good?" Because I was concerned. And when you see the special, what you're going to see is the compassion, the empathy, and the love in which I handled it. But it's also the truth.
He also claimed that
the special ain't even about them.
Right, yeah, I got
The special's about me. It's about how all my travels with them and knowing them, like when Chris got slapped, I got slapped. I felt that.
Marlon also claims that the reason why he made this hour all about his interpersonal connections to the slap is because it was personal to him. That's what stand-up is all about, right? Making a connection with the audience and sharing personal experiences. By reflecting on the slap with enough time and perspective, Marlon is now able to thank Chris for roasting him as a young comic, thank Will for taking all of those movie roles that he unsuccessfully auditioned for, and Jada for teaching him about love. One interesting thing to note is that Marlon released this special just 2 days before Chris Rock's live Netflix special. Some people are wondering if Marlon is daring Chris to respond to his jokes about the slap. Will Chris take the bait? It's hard to say, but one thing's for sure, Marlon's special is definitely a must-watch. During one of his stand-up sets, he spent 5 minutes talking about it, but as he continued to reflect on it, the material grew and grew until he had a full hour of material. And let me tell you, it's good. Wayans doesn't hold back. He brutally and honestly roasts all three participants, Chris Rock, Jada Smith, and Will Smith, but it all comes from a place of love. The show, titled God Loves Me, revolves around the idea that the slap was a gift from God, rewarding Marlon for his past struggles. You see, when he was younger, Chris Rock, who he affectionately calls his evil older stepbrother in stand-up comedy, heckled him so badly during a set that Wayans stopped doing stand-up for 2 decades. And, as we all know, Hollywood tends to only allow one black actor to shine at a time. After Eddie Murphy and Denzel, it was supposed to be Wayans' turn, but Will Smith held onto the spotlight for so long that Wayans missed his chance. But Wayans isn't bitter about it. In fact, he's grateful for the experience. And by using the slap as the centerpiece of his hour-long set, he's able to reflect on the incident and see how it all led him to being where he is today. He's not afraid to speak his mind and go for the jugular, but there's one topic he deliberately avoids: Pickett Smith's alopecia. Even though he believes that comedy should be edgy and unapologetic, he draws the line when it comes to personal physical attributes. It's interesting to see where comedians draw their boundaries, and for Wayans, it seems to be a matter of respect. Alopecia can be a sensitive and private issue, and he doesn't want to add any potential insecurities or shame that Pickett Smith may feel about it. During the special, it felt like he was more of a Chris Rock supporter than a Will Smith supporter, because he sure made fun of all of them, but it was Will who got the worst end of the stick. He made fun of Will for the slap, and he even later claimed in interviews that Chris shouldn't have to apologize for what he said. Marlon added that he's a brilliant comedian. You can't take that from him. No slap could slap the greatness out of him. He was also asked if he talked to these three people and took their opinion before his special, and Marlon's answer again was a big fat no. He said that he didn't need their opinion. He just hoped that they gauged it the right way and knew that even after all the roasting, he still loves them. Stay tuned for our next video to see what more the three had to say about his jokes. What do you think about the entire scenario? Comment down below and let us know. And if you like this video, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be the first to see my next video. I post updates like this every week where I uncover the secrets of your favorite celebrities.